think I feel that there should be a balance. Nothing wrong with you know you know getting a bit dirty, but the point I'm making is listen to their body rather than your own. Yeah, listen to their body. I don't know about you, but the one thing that I told you, I'll just be honest with you always, no matter how cringy or embarrassing it might seem to be. I shouldn't say that. It's not to me, so fuck it. So screw it. The one thing that turns me on the most is turning the other person on the most. That selfless physical nature of sexually pleasing your counterpart. See? That's the positive side of it. That's strength. Again, that's strength. That is. So there is an upside to the Dark Knight. There is. More so, I'd say, than a downside. So that's just one for the body. One for the heart would be... I had it a minute ago. Hang on. Yeah. Yeah, okay. So, here's one for you. The shadow in you that's fearful of giving all your love to someone, all of it, no holding back. That's the Dark Knight. You see? That's the shadow. You're scared. I get that. I understand that. Of course you are, especially if you've had your heart broken before. But personally, I've never... I'm incapable of playing hard to get and all that. It's mind games to me. I've mentioned this before. I've never split up with someone ever. I've never dumped a person ever. I know why. I know it's a psychological thing. It ties into losing my father. I think it's like an abandonment thing. But nonetheless, that's not necessarily a good thing, because I've had partners that treated me like absolute, and all the time when I knew it weren't right, I still had this part of me, the shadow, saying, yeah, but you chose them for a reason, don't give up on them. You wouldn't want them to give up on you, right? You see? So obviously that's more the negative side of it, but the positive side of the Dark Night of the Heart in that aspect would be just let it out. Let it out. If it don't work, it don't work. You know what I'm saying? But you don't want it to not work and then look back and go, well, maybe that's because I didn't try to make it work by allowing my love to portray and display itself in every way. That's who I am. That's what I do. It's caused a lot of heartache, but it's worth it. It's worth it, because it don't work out, boom, okay. It don't work out again, boom, okay. Eventually, like it has now with Mrs. Magpie, it will. It does. You'll find the one where it does. But if you hold back, you play hard to get, and all that stuff, it's not real, is it? Goes the other way. Don't force it either. Don't, you have love for someone, but it's not as strong as it could be or should be. Don't pretend that it is, because that will invoke the negative shadow also. It goes the other way. But as I said, you know, my opinion's just how I've always been. I'm with someone, boom, give them everything. Everything. You want to tell them you love them? Tell them. You've already said it 5 times already. It doesn't matter. Tell them. Show them. Do it. Go for it. Don't hold back. Don't ever hold back. If that's how you truly feel, it doesn't have to be with a partner either. It can be with a family member. It can be with a friend. You know, I meet up with my mates. I kiss them on the cheek. I give them a cuddle. Oh, don't do that. You're gay. Come on, mate. Come on. You love them, right? Show them. Show them you love them. Don't hold it in. Don't hold it back. See the positivity of that side of it. The positive shadow, yeah? That's why I put a K on the night rather than an N, because it's a night. The night fights. So fight by addressing it. Okay. Wow. 40 minutes. Sorry, brothers and sisters. I hope it's worth it. It's worth it to me. I just hope it is to you. So we've covered the dark night of the body, and we've covered the dark night of the heart. As I said, I'm not going to do the soul because that's already been addressed many a time. I just believe that there's more compartments to it than just the soul. So last but not least would be the dark night of the mind. Okay, so I'll start again as I have with the other two with a prime example to get us off the ground. A prime example of the dark night of the mind, in my opinion, would be dark night of the mind would be, I don't know if you've ever experienced this. I had a major problem with this for a long time growing up. Have you ever looked at a situation, okay, and in your mind you've gone to the worst case scenario of it, right? And for whatever reason, and that reason I believe to be the negative side of the shadow of the mind, for whatever reason you have this little craving, this little urge to make that situation play out to the worst it can be that you've already conceived and imagined. Does that make any sense? It can be something. It doesn't have to be a big situation. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Like, it can be something as simple as it can be something as simple as a glass or a cup or a mug on the edge of a table, and you're looking at it and you're thinking, oh, well, it's right on the edge. I mean, that could fall off at any point and smash. And it's so hard to explain. A part of you wants to make it smash. I don't know how else to explain it. There's this little kind of push that's like, it makes you want to do it. I don't know if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. But yeah, again, my opinion, that's the negative side of the shadow of the mind, the dark night of the mind. It's a part of you that makes it makes sense of destruction. It makes sense of chaos. It makes you believe that if something can be played out, then it should be played out. It's a very, very, it's very subtle, you know. It doesn't usually actually occur. It doesn't go that far, but you think about it, even if you don't want to. That's one aspect of the dark night of the mind. Give me a second. I'm going to think of a few others. Hang on. Okay, so here's a metaphor that I've just come up with, and this applies to all facets, all trinkets of the dark night: the heart, the mind, the body, and the soul. If you take a night in itself, the horse that the night rides is life. Okay? The horse is the ride, it's the journey, yeah? It's life in itself and as itself, of itself. But the horse needs you to direct it, to take hold of the reins, right? The horse will gallop, it'll continue, whether you do or you don't, but you take hold of them reins, you're in charge, right? The dark night wants to give you the sword, but when you don't address it, you're only left with the scabbard, the sheath. You see? You're unarmed. You already have the armour. You have the knight's armour. You, me, we all have the Creator's armour, the Redeemer's armour. But if you don't believe that armour can protect you, it won't, will it? You'll never face the fears that would attack that armour. You face them fears, that armour's not going to get damaged. Your knight will not get damaged. Because you have the cause, the noble cause, you know? So coming back to the dark night of the mind, a prime example would be, okay, how many times in could be your present as well as your past, but I'll speak for myself, the amount of times in the past where growing up, you know, I was bullied, for example, right? And if the 29-year-old sorrow that you're listening to now could teleport into the 14, 15-year-old sorrow then, I'd know exactly what to do. I'd know exactly what to say. So a negative construct of the dark night of the mind would be them moments, as I'm sure you've gone through, whether that be with a boss at work, you know, a partner in a relationship, a friend in a friendship, when they've really done a number on you, they really took the piss. You know that feeling, you know, after, and you look back and you go, I wish I'd said something, or I wish I'd done something. Because you could have. Maybe you didn't know how, what to do, what to say at the time, but your shadow was there. Your shadow was in you, offering you up the sword. You know what I'm saying? It's not your fault if you have them. Hopefully, they're not regrets. They shouldn't matter enough to be regrets. But I have many of these moments in my past where I wish I had acted when I didn't. You know, I'm not regretful of them, but as I said, going back, it would have been a very different story. There's your negative shadow of the mind, your dark night of the mind, negatively, pessimistically, you see, looking back and feeling unarmed. Your positive side of the shadow, your optimistic side of the dark night of the mind, there would be standing your ground, fighting your corner, you know. Um, invoking the night, invoking it, you know. I'd say the dark side, did it again. I suppose it is the dark side. The dark side doesn't have to be the evil side. It doesn't. That's why you have the true light and the false light. Why is Lucifer the light bearer? They pitch it to us, don't they? Satan, the dark, the black. The irony being they've done it deliberately because evil doesn't portray itself or display itself as evil. It portrays and displays itself as goodness, the light. See how they've flipped it on us? That part of you that wishes that it had said or done what you didn't at that time should not be attained by you as regret. It doesn't have to be a regret. Learn from it. Learn from it. Turn your shadow against them rather than against yourself. Because I'm sure, as much with you as I am with myself, that if these certain situations occurred again, I'd be ready for it. I would act. And you would too, wouldn't you? That's a positive, you see. Use it. Use it to your advantage. It's the same with the research that I do. The most efficient, proficient tool that you can have in your menagerie is to understand evil. It is. Understand it. Use their tricks against them. You know? Because the symbols, the signs, the ciphers, the codes, the decryption, the encryptions, all that they use wasn't always evil. They've just used it for evil means. Do you understand that? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as I said, it's about how you mould yourself. Your shadow only casts the shape that you have made, right? It's your shape. It's your shape. Your shadow doesn't mould your shape. You mould your shape, and your shadow casts it. You mould yourself through evil, your shadow is going to reflect that, and vice versa. Yeah, so I'm just trying to think and feel over anything that I may have missed. Give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, so to finish and finalise, I took a moment because I was trying to work something out. I've come to the conclusion just now that again, my opinion, all my videos are based on my opinion. I might believe them to be facts, but you may not. So I always state them, try to at least, to be that of my opinion. I've just come to the opinion that the dark night of the soul doesn't really exist, which is why I covered the mind, the heart and the body instead, because in my opinion, your soul is innocent, pure, clean and clear from start to finish. You was made that way. That's where it lies. That's where it resides. The only things that intoxicate your soul, diminish it, banish it, exile it, is that of the mind, the heart, and the body. You see, so the dark night of the soul really is just an all-inclusive construct of the rest of you. Do you understand that? Your soul is yours and yours alone. It's singular. To have a dark night of it gives it a mirror image, and I could be wrong, but I don't believe that it has one. You know, even all the Satanists and Luciferians and Saturnians, and usually, as you know, I only stick to the Saturnian because Satanism is a scapegoat. It is. As is Luciferianism, really, and the Luciferians. But the reason I bring that up is because I was talking to Armageddon Consciousness tonight. I was talking to Neil, and he taught me something that I completely overlooked, which is that they do have souls. They didn't start out the way that they are going to end. You know, they didn't start out that way, and that's given me a very strong impression that your soul. This is why people sell their souls. You couldn't sell it if it was tainted, right? It doesn't work that way. So the dark night of the soul, I believe, is simply your tweaking of it, you know, of what and which you do with the flesh and the brain and the pineal gland, which is what the body, the mind, and the heart. Sorry this has gone on quite a while. Hopefully it's been helpful, supportive, informative. I'm fucked. Whoops. Got work in a minute, so I'm gonna jump in my nest and wrap up in my wings. And I love you all, and I'll see you on the other side of the cube.